Today we're looking at Chopper, a Plat for Ana. This was a VOD request on the Overwatch University subreddit, where they wrote, I've been playing Overwatch since 2016, but Diamond is the highest rank I ever reached. I'm sharing my Ana game code. Please review it and help me improve my game. Alright, short and sweet. I'll do my best to help you out. So I'm actually going to try a different format with this VOD. I've already watched the game in its entirety. It was a win. I think you did a very good job and you were very impactful overall. So instead of going through the entire game, I've just taken some notes about a few specific things that stood out to me that I want to discuss. So we'll go over that right now. First thing is at the very beginning of the game. Let's watch this. So you're looking for the nade, but in my opinion, you hung out here a little bit too long. And, you know, the Hanzo was in your sight. Granted, he was looking at the Widow, not you. But what if he did look at you instead? I do think he could have easily, he could have easily killed you right there. The other thing, too, you got to think on First Defense King's Row, in addition to a Hanzo, there could very much be like a Widowmaker playing up, starting up there, you know, moving over to theater. So it's just definitely risky to just hang out in this area for too long. You didn't get punished here, but it could very easily happen. Even like you said, you were Diamond before. If you get to Diamond games, you will absolutely get punished for that.
Thank you.
And the next thing I wanted to talk about was actually right here. So we're playing in this position. This is very interesting because I see a lot of Anas in the metal ranks play up here, but I'm not a huge fan of this position. For one, it's just very restrictive of your opportunity and what you can do. Because, like, think about right here, you know, if you're playing, like, you know, you can look down this lane, but, you know, the Hanzo's looking right at you. So you got to be careful. If you duck, you can really only see this area where Junker Queen has pushed up by herself. The other thing, too, if they rotate around the statue here, where like poke comps will do this, or, you know, brawl comps before they engage with the Lucio, you're not going to get vision of this area at all. The other thing, too, with the Hanzo looking at you up here is, I actually want to draw this to show you. So you're basically going to be between these two walls right here. So Hanzo knows he just has to spam this small area and he has a good chance of landing a shot on you. So you're just kind of making him lining up his shots a little easier by just hanging out here. What I would like to see you do instead is play around Hotel here. This is really good for Ana. Because, you know, when the fight starts, your tank's up here. You can get good vision while also having cover to duck behind. You can back up as the enemy team pushes up. And, you know, if they really push up and commit, this is a kind of cheeky thing you do where you go through Hotel. You can go for a flank, throw a nade. And, you know, if the fight takes place on point, you can back up, like, around behind where your Kiriko is. Play these walls. And, you know, if somehow you guys lose the fight, it's very easy for you to back out without dying. So that's what I would like to see you do there instead. All right. Next thing I want to talk about was 328. So you're doing a little flank here. So you threw the nade on the BAP. What I would like to see you do is I would like to see you try to land a shot or two first on him and then use the nade to cut off his healing. Just because getting him low and antied, for one, that makes him have to play a little bit more carefully. And then maybe your team can finish the kill. Maybe you were able to get the kill yourself here if you had landed a shot or so. But just something to think about. And then you are moving over to this door now. So the flanks aren't terrible, but they are very risky. And if you're going to do that, it's very crucial for you guys to get kills. Because you didn't get a kill here. You know, you landed a nade. kind of created a little bit of chaos, but look what happened here. Your Kiriko died. Now, your team has no support, like has no healing, while you're rotating this way, not able to help them out, which it's, you know, if they die here, that's kind of your fault, to be honest. And here, you know, you're doing a flank again. You're staying here a little bit too long, in my opinion. What I would have liked to see you do is, as you were coming up, instead of stopping here, drop down and then play behind like your Zarya and Genji. Because what you're doing here is, you know, you're landing some damage and such. Don't say. I think you throw a nice nade. Or you did before. But anyway. Yeah, see? After throwing like some abilities, throwing some shots, Hanzo knew you were there. He comes up, kills you easily. So we definitely want to try to avoid that if we can. Next thing I wanted to talk about was 511. So your Zarya dies, kind of unfortunate. It's where you rotate that I wanted to talk about here. So you rotate left here. And watch what happens. You're trying to use this pillar as cover. Soldier's looking for you. The cover wasn't enough. He's able to land a Helix rocket to the side and kill you anyway. What I would have liked to see you do instead was rotate right. Just because, you know, this like what we talked about on first point, this kind of restricts your vision. You can't really see where the enemy team is coming from. You can only see them as they push up here. Whereas if you were on the right side instead, you know, you'd be able to get some deep vision down, you know, this corridor right here. You'd be able to see them come around. And also you would have these boxes as just better cover to play behind. A health pack right here if you absolutely need it. It's just generally in general, it's better to play on the right side, third point defense for King's Row. Next thing I wanted to talk about was 1108. So you guys are rolling. You did a very good job this round overall. But here, I think you're playing a little bit too close. Granted, you know, your team is rolling, you're getting kills, but what the enemy team needs to do right now is pick you off to try to turn this around. And by playing on point, you're making the chance of that happening easier for them. So what I would like to see you do instead is, you know, let your team push the cart and play back here. You know, you can play this door, poke out. You got cover you could duck behind. You can play around here too. You can even go like back and forth between the two if you want to stay safe. Things like that. That'll just be very good as far as just keeping yourself safe, preventing deaths, and preventing chances of like the enemy team turning a snowball around in their favor. All right, next thing I wanted to talk about was 1327. So same thing as before, not a fan of this area, but we already talked about that. So that's sleep. Let's watch that again one more time. I think you threw that a little too early. I just wait for the Reaper to commit on you a little bit more, just because you'll have a much higher chance of actually landing it. Next thing, it's actually 6 seconds from here, so we'll wait. You rotate, I understand, but you're kind of standing still out in the open, scoping in, and look what happens. Ash lands 2 shots and kills you. So you definitely want to, for one, I want you to practice quick scoping. I'll actually put an ML7 video from back in the day about how to quick scope. Some of the things about stats and such are kind of dated, but the tech still rings true. Definitely watch that, but you definitely don't want to just stay scoped like right out in the open like this where an enemy can burst you down. And then next thing is 1402. So same thing as before. I feel like you kind of rushed the sleep. Even if you had landed the sleep, what's it really going to accomplish? You know, the Reaper's going to be out for 5 seconds, but we're between fights, so the sleep wouldn't really accomplish anything. I would like to see you hold on to it and use it to keep him out during the next fight. So yeah, that's all I have. Let me know if you have any questions, comments, anything like that, and best of luck in the future.